Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're navigating a really contained true crime narrative. It's pulled from a stack of materials, the main one being The Last Call from Route 9.
Right. And this one's different.
It is. This isn't really about solving a mystery in the traditional sense. It's more about dissecting a crime that was committed in reverse.
In reverse, yeah. It's like the killer left a roadmap, a breadcrumb trail. They weren't trying to conceal anything. They wanted to be found.
Exactly. And this whole thing unfolds along Route 9 in New Jersey.
Which, if you know the Garden State, you know this road. It's this concrete spine of the state. It's incredibly busy by day, logistics, travelers, everything.
But at night.
At night, it's a different world. Those stretches between towns get really isolated, flickering lights, unsettling, and that's the perfect stage for what happens next.
So our story, it really kicks off with this single chilling clue. It comes in at 2:17 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
A call hits the Edison Township Police, and for 6 seconds, it's just total silence.
Right, which usually means pocket dial, hang up, nothing.
Exactly. But then this low, very controlled whisper cuts through the static. One sentence before the line goes dead, it says, "He's buried where the headlights die."
And that whisper, that is everything. For Detective Aaron Cole, a homicide vet, 15 years on the job, that's the real start of the case.
Yeah.
And our goal today, really, is to track how Cole took that one line, that cryptic message, and realized it wasn't just noise. It was a deliberate piece of communication.
A crafted clue.
A crafted clue, exactly. And what's so important for you to understand is what was happening before that call. For 8 years, you had 3 missing persons cases. All men, all tied to Route 9, all last seen late at night.
And all completely cold, just gone.
Presumed gone forever. These were dead files.
But the moment that whisper came in, Cole knew. He just knew this wasn't some prank.
You can see it in the case files. He connected it almost instantly to those cold cases. He sensed this wasn't the start of something new.
No, it was the end of something old. A calculated finale.
And that intuition, it was proven right almost immediately. Just 2 nights later, there's a construction crew working near Old Bridge Township.
They're widening a service road, right?
Yeah, and 6 feet down, their equipment hits something. They unearth human remains.
And dental records confirm it's Mark Delaney. He'd been missing since 2018.
Cause of death was blunt force trauma to the skull. Grim stuff.
Very grim. But finding the body, as awful as it is, that's one thing. It's what the killer left behind that just elevated this. This wasn't a body dump. This was a signature.
That is the perfect word for it, because right there, near the remains, placed so carefully, meticulously, was a small, burnt-out car headlight bulb.
Where the headlights die.
There it is. He didn't just say it, he showed them. He embedded the symbol right into the crime scene. It was undeniable proof.
So if that first discovery was a shock, the speed that this pattern emerged must have been, just terrifying for law enforcement.
Oh, absolutely. Suddenly, they're not dealing with a cold case. They're dealing with a very active, very high-profile serial killer.
And it happened fast.
So fast. Within 3 weeks, 2 more bodies surface. Same area, these isolated, low-traffic stretches of Route 9.
And the victims?
Same profile. All men, mid-30s to early 40s, shallow graves near the highway. And at each scene...
Let me guess. A dead headlight bulb.
Every single one. The consistency was everything. The killer was using this object to tell a story, a really dark, clear narrative.
And the media, of course, just went wild with this. I remember the headlines. The Route 9 Graveyard.
Oh, it was a frenzy. Public was terrified. Phantom highway killer on the loose.
So what were the police doing in between these discoveries? Were they just scrambling up and down 100 miles of highway looking for busted streetlights?
They were scrambling, you're right. The source materials really highlight what a logistical nightmare it was. They were digging into the victims' lives, checking motel registers, license plates.
Looking for a pattern in the method.
Exactly. They were looking in the dirt, so to speak, focused on the who and the how, but that's what the killer wanted them to do, at least for a little while.
And the killer, who we now know was Evan Burks, he didn't panic. He actually let the media frenzy build.
He did. He let himself become this bogeyman, this predator in the public imagination, and then once that was established, he escalated things on his terms.
This part of the story is it's a game changer.
It is the defining moment, I think, because the killer takes complete control of the investigation. It's a Sunday, 1:03 in the morning. Detective Cole gets a voicemail.
Not at the precinct.
No, on his personal cell phone.
Wow.
Think about that. A number he never, ever gave out to the public. That alone signals a level of sophistication, of preparation. It meant the killer was studying Cole himself.
That just flips the entire power dynamic. It's not a normal investigation anymore. It's a psychological duel. But I have to ask, wasn't it a huge risk for Cole to just follow that? I mean, it sounds like he's playing the killer's game, being manipulated.
That's a really sharp point, but you have to consider the context, the audacity of it, getting his private number. That told Cole this wasn't some random tip. This was the guy. This was the person leaving the Holmes. Okay.
And the message itself was just so compelling. The voice on the voicemail, calm, measured, says, "Detective Cole, you're looking in the dirt. You should be looking in the dark."
He was challenging the whole forensic approach.
Exactly. Looking in the dirt is digging up graves, analyzing trauma, but looking in the dark, that's about the secrets, the hidden context behind everything, the motive.
And it wasn't just a taunt?
No, not at all. That's why Cole took the risk, because right after the message, there's a click, and a location pin gets sent to his phone. The killer was demanding engagement.
And that pin led them to a rundown roadside motel.
The kind where you pay cash, no questions asked. The pin pointed them to one specific room, room 17.
And inside, they find what's essentially the killer's command center.
It's just, I mean, the sources describe this scene of total unsettling dedication. The walls are covered.
Covered in what?
Maps of Route 9 all marked up. Newspaper clippings about the missing men. Photos. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was a years-long project. But the key, the one thing that unlocked the whole motive, it was just sitting there in the middle of all this chaos, right? Framed.
Yeah. A single legal document. A class action lawsuit from 2012.
And that's the moment the entire profile of the killer just changes.
Completely. They weren't hunting some random phantom. They were hunting an avenger, someone with a very specific, very deep grievance.
So let's connect the dots on that lawsuit. The plaintiff's name was Evan Brooks.
Right. And the defendants, it was a huge list. Trucking companies, a private bus operator, but buried deep in all that legalese
were the names of the 3 murder victims they had testified against Brooks.
And that flips the entire script. Brooks lost that lawsuit. And those 3 men, the men he eventually murdered, their testimony is what sealed his fate.
What did he lose?
Everything. The source material is very clear. Because of that ruling, he lost his job, his marriage, and, most critically, custody of his son.
So in his mind, these men were directly responsible for destroying his life. They protected a corrupt system.
They did. But then the motive gets even darker. It gets compounded. Sometime later, Brooks' son died. He was hit by a drunk driver.
Oh, no.
On Route 9, the very same highway.
Wow. So that road just became the center of all his pain, all his loss.
It did. And you can just imagine Detective Cole standing in that motel room, putting it all together. This wasn't random murder. This was, in the killer's mind, judgment.
Each victim was someone who he felt had escaped accountability.
Exactly. So his whole plan wasn't about hiding the bodies. It was about making sure they were found, making sure their stories were told his way, forcing their final accountability into the public record.
He used the police investigation as his final statement.
He did, but he had one more piece to add.
3 days later, the final message comes in. Same whisper, same calm tone. Detective, I left one more truth for you.
And the location this time, I mean, it's just perfectly symbolic. It's inside a tunnel, a stretch of Route 9 where for a few seconds your headlights just vanish into total darkness.
It's the ultimate where the headlights die.
It is. So police rush to the scene and they find Evan Brooks. He's in his car, engine running. He had sealed himself in. Suicide by carbon monoxide.
His judgment was complete, for them and for himself.
And on the dashboard. The last crucial piece of evidence, but this time it wasn't a burnt-out bulb.
It was a working one.
A brand new working headlight bulb, still glowing.
And that contrast, that one detail, it just provides this quiet, horrifyingly poignant end to the story.
It really does.
The 3 dead bulbs marked the graves of men he felt had snuffed out his life, who had escaped justice.
Right, but the one working bulb, that was for him. It was a signal that, in his view, by doing all this and ending his own life, he had finally illuminated a truth the system tried to bury.
So as we look back on this case is really about how a crime can be designed not to hide, but to broadcast. Brooks was forcing Detective Cole, and now you, the listener, to look past the violence.
Yeah, to look past the dirt and into the dark, to focus on what he saw as the original injustice.
And that's really the haunting question this whole thing leaves us with, isn't it?
It is. The sources say there's this this local legend now that late at night on Route 9, sometimes car radios will just crackle, and if your headlights flicker, you might just hear a whisper through the static.
Where the headlights die.
Exactly. And it forces you to ask, when a system fails to provide accountability, does that create this vacuum where an act of vengeance becomes its own kind of terrible, tragic verdict? That's the unlit truth Evan Brooks wanted everyone to see.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're navigating well, a really contained true crime narrative. It's pulled from a stack of materials, the main one being The Last Call from Route 9.
Right. And this one's different.
It is. This isn't really about solving a mystery in the traditional sense. It's more about dissecting a crime that was committed in reverse.
In reverse, yeah. It's like the killer left a roadmap, a breadcrumb trail. They weren't trying to conceal anything, they wanted to be found.
Exactly. And this whole thing unfolds along Route 9 in New Jersey.
Which, if you know the Garden State, you know this road. It's
Yeah.
this concrete spine of the state. It's incredibly busy by day, logistics, travelers, everything.
But at night.
At night, it's a different world. Those stretches between towns get really isolated.